Welcome aboard. There's nothing quite like the thrill of port day. The ship's horn blares, sunlight dances on the water, and excitement buzzes through every deck. Whether you're a first-timer or a seasoned cruiser, today promises adventure, discovery, and memories waiting just beyond the gangway. In this video, I'll share the essential tips, stories, and secrets that will help you make the most of every port day, so you can step ashore with confidence and excitement. Let's get ready for an unforgettable journey. Before you even step ashore, preparation is key. The night before, I always pack a small day bag: sunscreen, water bottle, hat, comfortable shoes, a copy of my passport, and a portable phone charger. I also check my camera batteries and make sure I have a lightweight rain jacket, just in case. One time, I forgot my sunglasses and spent the day squinting through the dazzling Caribbean sun. Never again. The morning of port day, I wake up early, sometimes before sunrise, just to catch those first magical moments. You rush to your balcony or maybe to the Lido deck, coffee in hand, eager to glimpse a brand new destination. The air is buzzing with anticipation. Neighbors wave, cameras click, and the crew readies the gangway. I love watching families snap photos, friends plan their day's adventures, and kids press their faces to the glass, wide-eyed with wonder. Here's a tip. Check the weather forecast for your port the night before. I once packed for sunshine and got caught in a tropical downpour. Now I always toss a compact rain poncho in my bag just in case. If you're traveling with kids, pack snacks and a favorite toy or book. Disembarkation and customs lines can be long, and a little preparation keeps everyone happy. I once handed out granola bars to a grateful family stuck in line behind me. This is it, the moment every cruiser lives for. Port day. The promise of adventure is just steps away. You can almost taste the local cuisine drifting on the breeze, and imagine the sand of a new beach between your toes. The sights, sounds, and smells are unforgettable. I always pause for a moment at the gangway, just to soak it all in. If you're booking an excursion, compare your options. Ship-sponsored tours are convenient, but local guides often offer smaller groups and unique experiences. On my last cruise, I joined a local food tour and tasted dishes I'd never find on the ship. Another time I wandered into a tiny art gallery and met the artist herself, an experience no brochure could promise. For many, these days ashore are the very reason they booked the cruise in the first place. Cities, islands, and cultures all wrapped up in one neat vacation package. The brochures show smiling families ziplining, couples strolling hand in hand, and friends laughing over street food. But the real magic is in the moments you create yourself, like stumbling upon a street festival or sharing a laugh with a local vendor. But here's what the glossy photos don't show. The lines to disembark can be long, especially if you wait until the last minute. Here's a pro tip. Set an alarm, have your essentials ready, and be among the first off the ship to maximize your time ashore. I learned this the hard way on my first cruise, missing out on a morning market because I lingered over breakfast. Now I'm always ready early and I've never missed a moment since. Don't forget to bring a small amount of local currency. Some markets and taxis don't accept cards, and you'll want cash for tips or souvenirs. I once watched a fellow traveler miss out on a handmade bracelet because she only had her credit card. Now I always tuck a few small bills into my pocket, just in case. The port itself is a hive of activity, vendors setting up stalls, taxi drivers calling out offers, and local musicians playing lively tunes. The excitement is palpable, but so is the chaos. Keep your valuables close and your plans flexible. Sometimes, the best adventures are the ones you didn't plan, like the time I followed the sound of music and found a hidden courtyard dance party. Here's another hidden fact. Port schedules can change with little notice. Weather, port congestion, or even local events may mean your ship docks later, earlier, or at a different pier than planned. Always check the daily schedule and listen for announcements. One time a sudden storm rerouted us to a completely different island. It pays to be ready for anything. Local transportation can be unpredictable. Taxis may be in short supply when multiple ships are in port, and prices can surge. Consider sharing a ride with fellow travelers or pre-booking a reputable service. I once split a cab with a family from Canada and ended up with new friends and a great restaurant recommendation. Sometimes the journey is as memorable as the destination. The real magic of port day often lies just beyond the tourist shops. Wander a few blocks away from the main area, ask a crew member where they go on their day off, or look for local markets and cafes just out of sight of the port. That's where you'll find authentic flavors, unique souvenirs, and genuine smiles. My favorite memories are always from those hidden corners. Think of this as your pre-port day briefing, the one you don't get over the ship's intercom. With a little preparation, a spirit of adventure, and a willingness to embrace the unexpected, you'll turn every port day into a highlight of your cruise. Whether it's your first voyage or your 15th, there's always a new secret to discover. Let's dive into the tips and stories that will help you master your next port day. Picture this. It's 4:45 p.m. and you're still bargaining for souvenirs in a bustling port market. Suddenly, the ship's horn blares. A warning, not a greeting. Your heart races as you realize you've lost track of time. You glance at your phone, but the time is off. Panic sets in as you see the gangway in the distance. Around you, other passengers are frantically checking their watches, some breaking into a run, others frozen in disbelief. The tension is real, and the clock is ticking. Every cruise has stories of frantic passengers sprinting down the pier, waving desperately as the gangway is pulled away. Some make it, many don't. The ship leaves, and the reality sets in. You're stranded, your passport and belongings sailing away without you. In Barcelona, a couple missed the ship by 5 minutes and spent the night searching for a hotel, their luggage halfway to the next port. In Nassau, a family watched in shock as the ship pulled away despite their pleas. The crew waved, but the schedule couldn't wait. Cruise lines print the all-aboard time everywhere, on your daily planner, by the gangway, and in loudspeaker announcements. But it's not a suggestion. Holding the ship for late passengers can cost tens of thousands in port fees and fuel. The captain won't risk it for anyone. Even a 5-minute delay can throw off the entire schedule. Some lines are stricter than others, but the rule is universal. The ship waits for no one. Port authorities, pilots, and the next destination all depend on strict timing. 5 minutes late or 50, the ship will go. If you're not on a ship-sponsored excursion, you're on your own. A flat tire, traffic jam, or a slow lunch can mean a night in a foreign port, at your expense. One traveler in Greece missed the ship and had to navigate language barriers and last-minute flights to catch up. Another in Jamaica spent hours at the port, desperately calling the cruise line for help. Here's a real cruiser's story. We lost track of time in Cozumel. By the time we reached the pier, the ship was gone. We spent the night in a hotel, bought last-minute flights, and met the ship at the next port. It cost us over $1,000, and a lot of stress. If you ever find yourself stranded, contact the cruise line immediately. Keep your passport and credit card handy and stay calm. Help is available, but you'll need to act fast. Some cruise lines have port agents who can assist, but you'll be responsible for all costs. So how do you avoid this nightmare? Always double-check the ship's time versus local time. Some ships stay on home port time, others switch to local. Use your phone, but turn off automatic time updates to avoid confusion. Set your watch or phone to match the ship's clocks and take a photo of the ship's clock before you leave. Consider setting multiple alarms as reminders. I always snap a picture of the gangway clock and set a backup alarm on my watch. Pro tip: set an alarm for 1 hour before all aboard. Plan to be back at the port early. Use the restroom, browse shops, and stroll back without stress. If you're running late, call the ship's emergency number immediately. Sometimes a quick call can make all the difference. Don't be the person sprinting down the pier, suitcase in hand, as the crew pulls up the gangway. Remember, the all-aboard time is the latest possible moment the gangway will be pulled. Treat it as a hard deadline, not a goal. With a little planning, technology, and awareness, your vacation will be much more relaxing. And you'll have stories to tell for the right reasons. The best port days end with you waving from the deck, not from the pier. The moment you book your cruise, you're hit with a flood of glossy brochures and emails for ship-sponsored shore excursions, snorkeling, city tours, zip-lining, and more. The options seem endless, and the promise is simple: convenience, safety, and peace of mind. But is it always the best deal? Cruise lines promise these are the safest, easiest, and most reliable way to explore each port. They handle all logistics, and if your group runs late, the ship will wait. But this convenience comes at a price, sometimes double or triple what you'd pay booking directly. For example, a snorkeling trip might be $120 per person through the ship, but only $50 with a reputable local guide. A city tour could be $90 with the cruise line, or $35 if you book independently. These differences add up, especially for families or groups. Take Sarah, who booked a ship tour in Cozumel, 50 people on a bus, rushed from stop to stop, with a required visit to a souvenir shop. She paid $99 and felt like she barely saw the real island. Meanwhile, Mark and his friends booked a private tour online for $55 each. Their local guide took them to hidden beaches and a family-run restaurant. They returned with time to spare and unforgettable memories. So what are the pros and cons? Ship excursions offer guaranteed return, easy booking, and support if things go wrong. But you'll pay a premium. and often join a large group on a fixed schedule. Independent tours are usually smaller, more flexible, and less expensive. You can find unique experiences like cooking classes, private boat trips, or food tours that the cruise line doesn't offer. But there are risks. If you're late, the ship won't wait. You're responsible for timing, transportation, and communication. Not all operators are reputable, so research is key. Look for companies with plenty of recent positive reviews, proper insurance, and clear refund policies. One traveler booked a cheap tour online, only to find the operator never showed up. No refund, no recourse. Here's how to book smart. Start with sites like TripAdvisor, Viator, or Shore Excursions Group. Read recent reviews, check for business licenses, and confirm they know your ship's schedule. Email the operator to confirm pickup time and return buffer. Ask about group size, insurance, and what's included. Save all correspondence, and always consider travel insurance. It can save you from costly mistakes if plans change. On the day of your tour, bring a printout of your booking, the operator's phone number, and a map. Plan to return to port at least an hour before all aboard. One couple missed their ship in Barcelona after trusting a local guide's timing. Travel insurance saved them from a costly mistake. Communication is key. Keep your phone charged and have a way to contact your guide if plans change. If you want the best of both worlds, look for hybrid options, small group tours booked through the ship, or vetted local operators who guarantee return. These can offer a balance of safety, value, and authentic experience. Ask your cruise line or travel agent about these options, especially in ports where timing is tight. The bottom line, ship excursions are easy and safe, but costly and sometimes generic. Independent tours can be cheaper and more memorable, but require planning and responsibility. Do your homework, weigh your comfort level, and choose the adventure that fits your style. The right excursion can turn a port day into the highlight of your cruise. As you step off the gangway, you're greeted by a vibrant, bustling port, colorful shops, lively bars, and friendly vendors all vying for your attention. But look closer, this postcard-perfect village is often a carefully designed stage, built to welcome thousands of visitors each day. Cruise lines and local authorities collaborate to create a safe, inviting, and profitable environment, with every storefront, sign, and pathway planned months in advance. One crew member told me, even the music and scents are chosen to make you feel at home. It's a world built for tourists, convenient, but not always authentic. Most port areas are filled with familiar brand-name stores, souvenir stands, and even resort-style pools, designed to keep you entertained and spending without ever leaving the secure perimeter. It's easy to forget you're in a foreign country, one traveler told me, until you step outside the gates. In places like Falmouth, Grand Turk, and Harvest Cay, the main street is a stage set for cruise guests. But just a few blocks away, the real city begins. Bustling markets, local cafes, and neighborhoods where daily life unfolds. Here's a tip. Ask a crew member where they go on their day off, or look for where locals are eating and shopping. We always head to the market a few blocks away, a local vendor shared. That's where you'll find the best food and real crafts. One traveler skipped the tourist bars and found a tiny bakery run by a grandmother. No English spoken, but the pastries were unforgettable. The real treasures are rarely in the first row of shops. Many travelers have discovered hidden gems this way: a quiet cafe tucked down a side street, a family-run shop with handmade crafts, or a local festival in full swing. One couple told me, "We followed a hand-drawn map from a taxi driver and ended up at a tiny beach with no crowds." Our favorite memory of the trip. Another guest wandered into a neighborhood art fair and spent the afternoon chatting with local artists. These are the moments that make a port day truly special. Use a map or your phone to plot a route beyond the tourist zone. Even a short walk can reveal authentic flavors, unique souvenirs, and genuine smiles. Just remember, safety and cultural awareness are key. Stay alert, respect local customs, and avoid wandering too far alone. If you're unsure, ask a local or a crew member for advice. They often know the best spots and can point you towards safe, memorable experiences. The real adventure almost always lies just beyond the gates. Step outside the illusion, and you'll discover the authentic soul of each port, one that most cruise passengers never see. With curiosity and a little planning, you'll collect stories and memories that last far longer than any souvenir. So, next port day, go beyond the stage. Your best travel moments might be waiting just around the corner. You spend months dreaming of turquoise waters in St. Martin, a front row seat at Maho Beach, and a table reserved at a beachside cafe. The excitement builds as you count down the days, planning every detail. But just before arrival, the captain's voice crackles over the intercom. Due to a tropical storm, we'll be skipping St. Martin and heading to San Juan instead. Suddenly your plans are upended, and you're not alone. The mood on board shifts as everyone scrambles to adjust. Weather is the most common reason for last-minute changes. Hurricanes, tropical storms, or high winds can close ports or make docking unsafe. But it's not just the weather. Political protests, port congestion, or even a medical emergency on board can force a sudden change in course. One traveler's ship skipped 2 ports in a row due to a hurricane, turning their Caribbean adventure into extra sea days. Another recalled a political demonstration that closed the port, and a third remembered a medical evacuation that sent the ship to a completely different island. In each case, the cruise line offered little more than an apology and a revised schedule. One family had to cancel a private tour with no refund, while another traveler was grateful their ship-sponsored excursion was automatically refunded. The fine print in your cruise contract gives the line the right to change the itinerary at any time for any reason without compensation. That's why travel insurance is so important. It can help cover missed ports, canceled excursions, or unexpected hotel stays. Many experienced cruisers recommend booking refundable tours or those with flexible cancellation policies just in case. One couple was relieved when their insurance reimbursed them for a missed port and a last-minute hotel stay. The best way to cope? Stay flexible. Some travelers turn a missed port into an opportunity, exploring the ship, joining last-minute activities, or discovering a new destination they never expected to visit. One couple used a surprise sea day to relax at the spa and try a cooking class, while another family made new friends at a trivia contest. If your port day becomes a sea day, take advantage of the quieter ship, enjoy the pool, specialty restaurants, or simply watch the ocean roll by. If you dock somewhere unexpected, treat it as a bonus adventure and explore with an open mind. Some of the best travel stories come from the unplanned moments. Here's advice from seasoned cruisers. Always pack a little extra cash, keep your travel documents handy, and download offline maps for every port. If you have travel insurance, know how to contact your provider. And above all, keep a positive attitude. Flexibility is your best travel companion. One traveler said, "The detour became the highlight of our trip." Remember, a cruise is about the journey as much as the destination. Plan for surprises, book with flexibility, and you'll turn last-minute changes into some of your best travel stories. Sometimes the detour becomes the highlight of your trip. You've paid your cruise fare, planned for drinks and gratuities, and maybe even set aside a little extra for souvenirs. But the real surprise comes when you step ashore. Your onboard account is suddenly useless, and you're in a world where cash is king. Before you even start exploring, you might face currency exchange booths with high fees, or ATMs that charge $5 or more per withdrawal. Even small purchases, like bottled water or a quick snack, can add up fast if you're not prepared. I once met a couple who spent nearly $40 just on ATM fees and currency exchanges in a single day. Always check rates and try to bring small bills in advance. Transportation is often the first expense you'll face. Taxis, water taxis, and local buses rarely take cards. Fares can range from $10 to $25 per person, or even more if you don't negotiate. One traveler told me they paid $80 for a short ride because they forgot to ask if the fare was per person or per car. And don't forget tipping. Some destinations expect a tip for every service from drivers to porters, which can quickly add up. I once saw a family pay extra just for help with their bags. Always ask about fares and tipping customs before you get in. Next, food and drinks. That beach bar with the perfect view? Expect to pay $15 for a burger and $8 for a soda. A family lunch can easily top $60. Even bottled water can be $3 or more. Some beaches charge entrance fees, $5 to $20 per person, and chair or umbrella rentals are extra. One traveler was surprised by a service charge added to their bill, just for sitting at a table. I've seen people pay $10 just to use a beach chair for the afternoon. Always check the menu and ask about extra fees before you order. Activities add up fast. Want to snorkel, rent a kayak, or join a local tour? Each can cost $30 to $100 per person. Even public restrooms or park entrances sometimes require $1 or $2. One couple was shocked to find their free beach day cost over $100 after all the extras, like chair rentals, snacks, and tips for attendance. I once paid $5 just to use a changing room at a public beach. Always ask about all possible fees before you commit to an activity. Souvenirs are everywhere: t-shirts, magnets, local crafts. It's easy to spend $50 to $100 without realizing it. Some travelers regret impulse buys while others cherish their finds. The key is to set a limit before you shop. One cruiser told me she uses a budgeting app to track every purchase, and it helped her avoid overspending. I like to compare prices at a few shops before buying anything. Sometimes the same item is much cheaper just a block away. So how do you avoid bill shock? Start by setting a clear budget for each port day. Bring small bills in local currency or US dollars. Track your spending as you go. Use a notepad, a budgeting app, or even set aside an envelope of cash for each day. One savvy traveler told me she and her partner compared spending with a simple spreadsheet at the end of each day, which helped them stay on track. Apps like XE Currency or Splitwise can help you manage costs and split expenses with friends. Look for ways to save, share taxis with other cruisers, eat at local spots away from the port, and ask about prices before you order or join an activity. Sometimes, the best experiences are the most affordable, like sampling street food or exploring on foot. I once joined a group of fellow travelers to split a taxi, and we all saved money and made new friends. With a smart budget, the right tools, and a bit of flexibility, you can enjoy every port day without financial surprises, and maybe even come home with a little extra for your next adventure. In today's hyper-connected world, even a few hours without internet can feel unsettling. You want to post that perfect photo, check your email or video call family back home, but staying connected in port isn't always as easy as it sounds. I remember my first cruise, standing on the pier, phone in hand, searching for a signal while everyone else did the same. As you step off the ship, signs everywhere promise free Wi-Fi. But here's the catch. Free Wi-Fi almost always comes with strings attached. Sometimes you'll need to buy a drink or snack just to get the password. I once sat in a crowded cafe for 20 minutes, waiting for a slow waiter, just to get the Wi-Fi code, only to find the connection barely worked. Maybe you find a cafe offering Wi-Fi but the network is painfully slow or keeps dropping. One traveler told me she spent half an hour trying to upload a single photo, only to give up when the connection failed. Another tried to join a video call with family but the screen froze and the audio cut out. I've seen entire groups huddled around a single router, all frustrated as their messages failed to send. Even if you do connect, remember, public Wi-Fi in tourist areas is rarely secure. Hackers can easily intercept your data. Never log into your bank or enter sensitive information on these networks. A friend of mine had her email hacked after using a port cafe's Wi-Fi. She spent the rest of her trip resetting passwords and worrying about her accounts. So what are your options? Some savvy travelers buy a local SIM card or an international data plan before their cruise. With a prepaid SIM or a daily roaming pass, you can often get faster, more reliable, and safer internet, right from your phone. Look for kiosks selling SIM cards near the port or order one online before your trip. I met a couple who skipped the cafe lines and used their phone's data to navigate, share photos, and even video chat with family. No stress, no waiting, and no security worries. Another traveler used an eSIM app to activate a local plan instantly, saving time and money. eSIMs are becoming more popular. Just download an app, choose a plan, and you're connected in minutes. No need to swap physical cards or hunt for a store. If you must use public Wi-Fi, stick to basic browsing and avoid sensitive transactions. Consider using a VPN for extra protection. VPNs encrypt your data, making it much harder for hackers to snoop. There are many easy-to-use apps. Just install one before your trip. I always turn on my VPN before connecting to any public network, just in case. Another smart move: download offline maps and translation apps before you leave the ship. Google Maps, Maps.me, and Google. Translate all work offline if you plan ahead. This way, you can navigate and communicate even without a signal. I've met travelers who used offline maps to find hidden beaches and local restaurants, even when their phones had no service. The bottom line? Free Wi-Fi in port is rarely as free or fast as it seems. Plan ahead, invest in a data plan, SIM card, or eSIM if staying connected matters, and use offline tools for backup. With a little tech prep, you'll save time, money, and frustration, and stay safe online wherever your cruise takes you. The best travel memories come from being present, not from waiting for a page to load. The ship docks, the gangway opens, and suddenly thousands of eager tourists flood into a small town. The main street quickly fills with people, all heading for the same must-see attractions. It can feel overwhelming, but with a little planning, you can escape the crowds and make the day your own. Imagine a split screen. On one side, a packed beach or bustling market. On the other, a quiet cove or a peaceful cafe just a few blocks away. The difference? Timing, curiosity, and a willingness to explore beyond the obvious. One traveler told me she skipped the main square and found a tranquil garden where only locals gathered. The first strategy is all about timing. Most passengers disembark between 9 and 10 a.m. If you're up early, be among the first off the ship and you'll have popular spots almost to yourself. Or, wait until later in the morning. Sometimes crowds thin out after the initial rush. Some travelers even return to the ship for lunch, then head out again when most people are at the beach. Either way, plan your timing to avoid the peak. Next, consider your route. See where the crowds are headed, then walk the other way. Side streets and less obvious paths often lead to hidden gems, quiet bakeries, local markets, or a nearly empty beach. One couple wandered away from the main drag and stumbled upon a tiny art gallery, where the owner shared stories and homemade pastries. Don't forget about off-peak attractions. Small museums, nature trails, or local food tours can offer a more authentic experience and plenty of breathing room. One traveler skipped the crowded beach and joined a morning cooking class, learning to make local dishes with just a handful of fellow cruisers. Local festivals and events can be a double-edged sword. Sometimes they draw crowds, but other times they offer a chance to blend in with locals and experience something unique. Check the calendar for your port day. You might stumble upon a parade, market, or celebration that most tourists miss. A solo traveler once joined a small village festival and ended up dancing in the street with new friends. Season matters too. Some destinations are busiest during school holidays or peak cruise season. If you're flexible, consider sailing during shoulder seasons for fewer crowds and a more relaxed vibe. And remember, solo exploration can be the ultimate crowd avoidance strategy. Many travelers say their favorite port days were spent wandering alone, following their curiosity, and discovering quiet corners that group tours missed entirely. The best port days are often the ones where you find your own path. With a little planning, curiosity, and a willingness to wander, you'll discover peaceful moments and make memories far from the crowds. Remember, the real adventure starts where the crowds end. Port days can be the highlight of your cruise, or a source of stress if you're not prepared. Let's break down the essential do's and don'ts, with real stories and expert tips to help you make the most of every stop. Remember, a little planning goes a long way. Do research your destination before you leave home. Know the top attractions, but also look for hidden gems. For example, Sarah planned ahead and discovered a quiet local beach just a short taxi ride away, while most passengers crowded the main strip. Check local customs, weather, and any travel advisories before you go. Don't just follow the crowd off the ship. Mark and Lisa joined the first wave and spent an hour in line for taxis. If they'd waited 30 minutes, they could have strolled right out and found a ride with no wait. Sometimes patience pays off. Use the extra time to double-check your plans or enjoy a quiet coffee on deck. Do carry a copy of your passport, ship card, and emergency contacts with you. One traveler lost their wallet, but was able to get help quickly because they had a backup of their documents and the ship's emergency number. Keep digital copies on your phone and paper copies in your day bag. Don't ignore local laws or customs. In some ports, dress codes or behavior rules are strictly enforced. A group of friends was turned away from a temple for wearing beachwear. Always check what's appropriate before you go. Learn a few polite phrases in the local language. It goes a long way. Do synchronize your watch to ship time. Always plan to be back at least an hour before all aboard. One traveler, Alex, lost track of local time and watched his ship sail away. An expensive mistake. Set multiple alarms and take a photo of the ship's clock before leaving. Don't assume the ship will wait for you if you're late. Cruise lines are strict. If you're not on a ship-sponsored excursion, you're on your own. Missing the ship means booking last-minute travel to the next port. One family in Italy learned this the hard way and spent a night in a hotel, their luggage sailing away without them. Do purchase travel insurance that covers medical emergencies and trip interruptions. One cruiser slipped on a wet dock and needed urgent care. Insurance saved them thousands in unexpected bills. Check your policy for coverage on missed ports, lost luggage, and medical evacuation. Do carry small bills in local currency or US dollars for taxis, tips, and small purchases. Maria avoided a headache by having exact change for a taxi when the driver claimed he had no coins. Keep your money in a secure pouch or money belt. Don't forget to agree on a taxi fare before you get in. Negotiate and confirm if the price is per person or per ride. One family was shocked when their fare doubled at the end of the trip. Always ask for the fare in writing if possible. Do respect local culture and the environment. Learn a few polite phrases. Ask before taking photos, and avoid single-use plastics. A couple who brought reusable water bottles and bags found locals appreciated their effort to be eco-friendly. Leave only footprints, take only memories. Do be flexible. If your plans fall through, maybe a tour is canceled or the weather changes, embrace the unexpected. Some of the best memories come from spontaneous adventures. One group missed their excursion but ended up joining a local festival instead. Don't rely on free Wi-Fi at port bars or cafes for important tasks. Connections are often slow, crowded, and insecure. Use your phone's data plan for anything sensitive. One traveler lost access to her email after using public Wi-Fi. Protect your information. Do know where to find help in an emergency. Save the number for local emergency services and the nearest embassy or consulate. One traveler's quick call to the embassy made all the difference when their passport was lost. Keep a list of emergency contacts in your phone and on paper. Do walk past the first few blocks of pier shops. The most authentic food, crafts, and experiences are often just a little farther from the port. Ask a crew member for their favorite local spot, and you might discover a hidden gem. Don't forget about your health. Bring sunscreen, stay hydrated, and wash your hands often. A family's port day was cut short by sunburn and dehydration. Don't let preventable issues ruin your adventure. Pack a small first aid kit and hand sanitizer. Don't spend your whole day worrying. Prepare for the worst with travel insurance, but expect the best. Allow for spontaneity and enjoy the moment. The best stories often come from the unexpected. Ultimately, port days are what you make of them. Understand the costs, manage your time, respect local culture, and travel responsibly. With these tips, you'll create unforgettable memories, no matter what surprises the day brings. Safe travels,